is still being held by the government. But we are grateful that the Benin Republic did not listen to the Nigerian government by handing over Chief Sunday Igboho back to Benin Republic. We're going to be discussing that as well later on tonight. Good evening to you, Alhaji Idris Moyedin. Good evening to you, Mr. Michael Awe. Good evening to you, Balogun Abiodun. Good evening to you, Mr. Bolaji George. Cool or no cool, everybody needs to go their separate ways, okay? Good evening to you, Chris_Wealth. Good evening to those of you that are joining us from different parts of the globe tonight. It is Star Radio UK. My name is Olawumi Koiki. We're going to just take a little bit more from that. It's a long video, so we might not be able to use everything. But you now have an idea when I say, do we say that the government is now compromised and they're not doing enough to end the insurgency that is taking place and ravaging across the country? Today alone, if I look into our record, up to the last, more than 72 hours, 3 days now, I'm going to give you some breakdown of people that have been massacred, killed, kidnapped. And this is happening in almost every part of Nigeria in the last 72 hours, for the benefit of those that are not from Nigeria. In the last 72 hours, Nigerians have had to deal with killings, kidnapping. I saw the video, I believe that was on Tuesday, where the terrorists have now released video of part of those that they took away, and they are now saying that 16 of their commandant has to be free before they can release them. But there's also a news that the Northern Elders Forum is asking President Muhammadu Buhari to resign. And this is coming from the Northern Elders Forum. Do you agree that now that everybody is talking, the Northern are talking, Mr. Mike Ola say, if a coup happens today, the one and only option for Yoruba is to declare independent and secure all our borders. My only concern and fear is, do we have the manpower, military power to do that, with a question mark? I'll leave that to those that are listening to us. The Northern Elders Forum asks Buhari to resign. It is now time for President Buhari to seriously consider that option, since his leadership has proved spectacularly incapable of providing security over Nigerians. Our forum is aware of the weight of this advice. What is your take on that? There's so much insecurity in Nigeria, and this again is what the former Navy Olawumi had to say.
It's in the news in April.
Good evening to you, Mrs. Funke Iyalaje, for joining us, and welcome on board to Niger Voices on Star Radio UK. This program has been coming in the last 5 years. I remember we might bring him back again. We had Amoyele Sowore was sitting right there before the election in 2019. I had Fule Dorotoye here. I know Sowore still want to become the president. We will reach out to him. We will reach out to all the contestants. That's if they're going to listen to us. But my position is, Nigeria is no longer holding, and with the amalgamation, the best option, this is my view, not the view of Star Radio UK or the management of the studio. My own take is Nigeria needs now to be disintegrated, separate nations, and that we can secure our borders, have a better economy. Nigeria is now going through a lot of crises. It's not just the terrorists. Economic-wise, Nigeria is still, going very, very bad. The loan is being borrowed, and yet we can't say what they're borrowing the loan for. Economy is zero. University student, I was reading before getting to the studio this evening. Very beautiful weather out there. The weather is getting better. We don't need to get a lot of big jacket. Thank you so much to those of you that have been staying with us for a very long time. Good evening to you, Kennedy Ekpoma. Good evening to you, the Biafrans. Good evening to the Middle Belt. Good evening to the Arewa. The Northern Elders is now asking Buhari to resign. What do you think on that as well? I want to read all your comment. Mr. Adekunle Oluyemi says, Oduduwa is a goal. Good job, Koiki. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. Those of you that are watching us from Star Radio UK Facebook page, YouTube, you can follow us. The focus point tonight is still who should be held responsible for security. I was going to give you a breakdown for those of you joining us on YouTube. Sorry for the late delay in bringing the broadcast onto the screen. Good evening to you, African Confidential. I was trying to bring it onto the, from the laptop, but it was taking a bit of time. But we've eventually, done, the magic around it. 72 hours. This is what I want you to remember. Get your pen and paper. Several students of College of Health Education in Tasfa in Zamfara State are reportedly being kidnapped by terrorists yesterday night. Details still sketchy. This is the incident that occurred in Nigeria in the last 72 hours. Again, just in, reports indicate that gunmen hijack and kidnap passengers in a 2 commercial bus along the Gema Agbuguma Abonima Road along East-West Road axis in Rivers State yesterday night. The passengers are believed to be traveling to the Riverine area. Again, I hope you got your pen and paper. You're taking note. These are events that has occurred in the last 72 hours. There was a protest by the youth in Makurdi, Boko in Benue State. The people in Benue State have gone through a lot in terms of the massacre and the killings that is taking place right there. But again, in terms of crisis, we come back again to 1 minute. I could say I know the vice president has already put his indication. He wants to become the president. Okay, this is the video, and I'm going to get the video on now, and we can just hear the sound track of those that were not rescued, in the hands of the Boko Haram terrorists. And these are individuals that probably would never say anything about the security of Nigeria. They're probably moving from point A to B. They were not concerned, or probably they were concerned, but maybe they were not doing enough to speak up. Are you part of those as well? Good evening to you, Saeed Jimo. Are you part of those that are still thinking that nothing is happening? Because when you speak to somebody in Nigeria, all they tell you is nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. They will tell you that nothing is happening, and you start to wonder whether whatever you are seeing as evidence-based, just as this former naval officer was telling us in the video that we were just listening to, the audio clip right there. We just take about 1 minute or two, and then I'm going to get ready, the next video for you. Good evening to you once again, Kende Oyebanjo. Good evening. Thank you very much, Mrs. Funke Iyalaje. A lot of Nigerians will tell you there's nothing happening in Nigeria. Until somebody in their family get kidnapped, then they're shouting and they're crying for support. And I'm asking the question tonight, who should be responsible? Is it the governors that are taking billions in security vote? Is it your senator, your House of Rep? There's no light. How can they know what is happening? Okay. All right.
This year, the government said they have arrested 400 Bureau de Change related, people that were sponsoring Boko Haram. They told us. And Abu Dhabi also helped us to arrest few Nigerians. Tried them, we know them. Why can't this government, if not that they are partisan and they are actually part of the charade that is going on, why can't they bring those people out for trial?
So the Bureau de Change operators on the one hand, but you particularly said people in government. Are those part of the Bureau de Change, or those people that you say are in government are still there, government is aware and government is condoning them?
The people I mentioned that are in government are not these ones they just arrested. You remember this Boko Haram issue started since 2012. Yeah. And I was in the military intelligence that time. We arrested those people. It is my organization that actually conducts interrogation and interview. And they mention names. I mean, I can't come on the air and start mentioning names of people that are presently in government now that I know.
Presently in government.
Presently in government.
These are serious, well, allegation, or we might say, according to him, that if we have people that are working with this current government, I'm talking about the APC Buhari government. Should I take you straight now to that other video? These are Nigerians that have now cried out to the government to please come and do the needful, because they are already, we also have some foreigners among them. I'm not sure whether these are Lebanese or these are from Pakistan or Indian, but I can see that in the midst of those, in that video that was released by the terrorist, we have also foreigners in there. But before I play that video, I was telling you about what the British government is advising Nigerians that are living in United Kingdom. Should you be traveling back home, these are measures that you need to remember so that you do not become a victim of a terrorist attack in Nigeria. This is a foreign travel advice, and it was last updated, according to what I have here. It was last updated some few days ago. According to the FCDO, as is known, this is what I said. Terrorism. Terrorists are likely to try to carry out attacks in Nigeria. Attacks could be indiscriminated and could affect Western interest, as well as places visited by tourists. Most attacks are conducted by Boko Haram or Islamic State West Africa, known as ISWAP, and these occurred in Borno State, Yobe State, Adamawa State in the northeast. As of 24th of December 2021, there is reporting of an increased terrorist threat in Abuja. I need to get this. I think this is the old version. Let's get the latest version. Just bear with us. Once again, this is STARR Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. While I'm getting that ready, I might as well just let the engineer play the audio that we have ready. The audio that you're about to listen to, for those of you that are not from Nigeria, these are Nigerians that are still now, after 2 weeks or almost 2 weeks, in the hands of the terrorists, and they're now asking the federal government to please come to their rescue. Mr. Mike Ola also says again, the Arewa are just playing games. They know their secrets are out, and are out there, and there's no hidden place for them anymore. Remember the saying, the trouble you brew today, you should drink tomorrow. This is coming from Mr. Mike Ola. You should drink it tomorrow. Mr. Ola Dimeji also said, and I quote, let's see if we can read that here, because I'm struggling to get it out from there. So let's read it from the bigger screen. Thank you so much, Mrs. Adebayo Nike Kudera. Thank you so much for joining us as well on STARR Radio UK. This is STARR Radio UK. I come here every Wednesday. We talk about issues affecting Nigerians. We've been doing this for 5 years, continuously, non-stop. Like I said, we've had different guests. You know, we've got APC members that have been here before. We've got PDP, AAC. We've got non-Nigerian, just ordinary Nigerians. We've talked about issues affecting Nigerians. And this is what I've done for 5 years continuously, on STARR Radio UK. And we continue to do that as well. So this is what Mr. Mike Ola says. Thank you so much, Mrs. Olua Kemi Adeleye. Thank you so much, Kendi, Mr. Kendi Oyebanjo. Thank you so much as well. Mr. Mike Ola says, and I want to read it properly for the benefit of those of you that are not, and keep your comment coming as well. Those of you on the YouTube, I can read everything as well. The Arewa are just playing the games. They know their secrets are out there, and there is no hidden place for them anymore. Remember the saying, the trouble you brew today, you should drink tomorrow. Are we now saying that the government, according to the last comment that came earlier on, says I think this government brought these terrorists in 2015 in the hope that Jonathan would not let power go. So what happened in 2023? There's a lot at stake. The self-determination are saying it's a total disintegration election. Some are still saying there must be election. Ilanomo Dua. I'm going to be telling you what they say, that they will be going to the court. The court was meant to be today, but for whatever reason, it didn't happen. But I guess they have a new date. I'm going to be telling you that as well. So let me go back to that. The trouble you brew today, you should drink tomorrow. They are starting to pay for what they did. Remember, the same bandit and Boko Haram just killed the chairman of the Mayati Allah. Yes, you're quite right. And the 4 others, they are starting to understand. So is it now that because the Mayati Allah were killed as well, that is why the Northern Elders Forum are speaking out as well? That is exactly what Mr. Mike is saying there. Mr. Kende Joseph say, please, where is the commander Kunle Olawumi now? Has he been taken out of circulation, just like Dr. Malafi Obadiah? I know he was invited by the DSS. I don't think his life, well, I don't want to use the word his life is not a threat. Good evening to you, Mrs. Dada, Liz Dada. I'll probably say we don't know where he is, but I know someone that knows somebody that knows him. I will do a follow-up just to make sure that the commander is still safe, just as, we would have loved the late Dr. Malafia to be alive, but we know what happened at the end of it. So keep your comment coming. I will continue to read them. Good evening to you, Akim Olaiton Lariwaju. Good evening to you, Olakunle Lame. Good evening to you, Adeni Adeyanju Bambi. What part of Nigeria is safe? Can somebody just tell us what part of Nigeria is safe today? Good evening to you, Taiwo Tijani. Good evening to you, Anthony Adedeji. Good evening to you, Akonji Odewumi. Again, I'm sure a lot of you are aware of the football match that is going to be coming up in South Africa, that is being put together. We will be having a special program on that. I might probably, be bringing somebody onto the program next week, Wednesday, or probably during our own normal program that we do. It's coming up to 24 minutes past. The time is going so fast, even though we've lost about 20 minutes, but we try and catch up tonight. Probably maybe we'll have another extra half an hour. Let me quickly go back to the audio from those that were kidnapped from the terrorists on the train network in Nigeria between Kaduna and also Abuja. Good evening to you, Mr. Olatunja Officer. We already have terrorists, what you said there, you said we already have terrorists and bandits during the regime of President Jonathan. Okay, so it's not just that the terrorists occurred overnight during this government. Okay, that's fine. But who is responsible is the question I'm asking. Jonathan is no longer in power. PDP is no longer in power. Who should we be holding responsible, for the massacre of Nigerians and also the killings that is taking place in Nigeria as well? Good evening to you, Mr. Ayodele Adeleye. No doubt the Nigerian government is culpable in the terrorist activities. Repentant terrorists were spared. Remember, there was a time they had a cardboard and they say, please, Nigerians, forgive us. I don't understand what that means. Good evening to you, Mrs. Ebun Enilolobo. Welcome on board. Buhari administration, according to Mrs. Funke Iyalaje. Keep your comment coming and I'll continue to read them out. But because of time constraint, let's go back and listen to, for the benefit of our listeners that are not from Nigeria, I'll remind you there was a terrorist attack on a train network between Kaduna and Abuja, or from Abuja to Kaduna. This could have probably been about an hour and a half train journey. The road network is no longer safe. Just before that Monday of that train attack, the airport, the international airport in Kaduna, was attacked by the terrorists. Individuals were killed. While the party were having their convention in Abuja, there was massacre taking place in Kaduna. And this continue all the time. But these Nigerians are now asking the government to please come and rescue them. Let's listen to what they have to say.
And I'm talking on behalf of the students. Government should please hear our cry and come to our aid. Thank you.
Which school are you from?
I'm a student of Kana State University.
What is your
name?
What is your name?
I'm Asafala.
From which state?
Kana State.
Where are you studying?
I'm schooling in Kana State University.
Which course?
Agriculture.
University. Correct. Women.
I'm Gladys Bowman, an ex-staff of Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria. What happened on Monday was needless if the government would have a listening ear and accede to what the populists are talking about.
Oh, my name is Adedeji. I was going to Kaduna for I trip.
Mu ne fasinja da muka taso daga Abuja zuwa Kaduna ranar Litinin 28 ga watan uku shekara ta 2022 wanda akan hanyar mu ta zuwa Kaduna.
Heard about GoDaddy domain names?
Sorry about that. Let's go back to that clip again. We're just about almost finishing it.
And you cannot sit in this too.
Which course?
Agriculture.
Ministry. Elect. Women.
I'm glad it's booming. An ex-staff of Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria. What happened on Monday was needless if the government would have a listening ear and accede to what the populists are talking about.
Oh, my name is Adedeji. I was going to Kaduna for I trip.
Mu ne fasinja da muka taso daga Abuja zuwa Kaduna ranar Litinin 28 ga watan uku shekara ta 2022 wanda akan hanyar mu ta zuwa Kaduna aka samu nasarar kama mu. Tun daga lokacin zuwa yanzu muka san irin halin da muke ciki. Akwai mata da ƙananan yara, akwai tsoffi wanda yake ba su da lafiya, akwai mu karan kanmu wanda yake shekaru sun fara.
Just to buttress back again, thank you so much. A lot of comment is flying through. Let's go back again. Mr. Michael says all the politicians, parties are responsible. Each of them invited different sect of these bandits into Nigeria. Mr. Akim Olaiton Laniwaju says, I said it before that they will likely want to plan a coup if they see a sign that power might not remain in their hand. Those are evil, to be honest. Also, the next audio you're going to listen to is coming from a cry of the Hausas. They are crying out loud as well. I remember that the last clip I played, these were Hausa that were also part of those that were kidnapped. Do we now say that what is happening in Nigeria is what we can call ethnic cleansing, just as we've seen it in the past in different parts of the globe? It's not the first time that ethnic cleansing is happening. It has happened before. For the Biafrans were massacred, the genocide, and up to date, nobody has paid responsibility for that. It's coming up to 7:30. But before we go further, let me quickly give you some kind of update. I was going to tell you a little bit. I did talk about earlier on. I wanted to give you a bit of information. Remember, I said that there's a lot happening, and a lot is happening very, very fast. Just bear with me. Let's get this audio back again in just about a few minutes.
And the international community. Now, I want to address Nigerians and the international community about the current happenings in northern Nigeria. Although it's not only northern Nigeria, it's the entire country, but most particularly northern Nigeria. And I want to address the indigenous Nigerians and the Hausa people, particularly in Nigeria. We need to rise up. We need to open eyes. The Fulanis are moving all villages, killing people, rampaging communities. They have no respect for religion. Fulani man has no respect, whether you are a Muslim or you are a Christian. I myself that is addressing you, I'm a Hausa person. These people have no regard for religion. If you are thinking it's about religion, you better open your eyes. The indigenous people in this country and the Hausa people need to rise up and open their eyes. This is not about religion. It's about ethnic cleansing.
Once again, this is STARR Radio UK. You heard him right there. This is what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people, of Biafra has been crying out. This is what Professor Banji Akintoye said, that we are now facing a dilemma where situation is getting out of hand. I said I was going to give you an update on two things. I don't want to forget about that. Let's go back to Sir David Mars. He was an MP. He was killed. The man has now been found guilty. But this particular man has a link to ISIS. An ISIS fanatic has been found guilty of murdering Sir David Amos. He's a member of parliament here in UK. He was killed 6 months ago. The South End West MP was stabbed more than 20 times during what we know as the constituency surgery in Leigh-on-Sea in Essex on 15th of October 2021. This young man, I've got his picture right in front of me, stabbed him 20 times. This is in United Kingdom. Imagine if we have an ISIS fanatic that was able to kill, even in the midst of all the security that United Kingdom has got. The MFI, to secure the lives of millions of, citizens that live here in the United Kingdom, whether the British or the non-British, whether people that are here for different purposes. But this young man, 26 years old, live in Kentish Town, which is somewhere I know very well. From here, it's probably about less than 2 hours if I have to travel from the studio to Kentish Town. But he was living among us, but yet the radar could not pick him up. So the question I'm asking those of you back home now is, should you be concerned that you have people that are living among you that the government does not even know where they are? You probably see them all the time, but you don't know that their real agenda. This is why the Hausa man is now crying out loud to the international community that there is what we call ethnic cleansing in Nigeria. It was according to the jury at the Old Bailey, took just 18 minutes to convict Ali Habib Ali of murder and preparing act of terrorism. So if we can have a young man like this living among us in the United Kingdom, the question then for those of you at home is, should you be concerned? Should you be worried? Or are you not concerned? This is STARR Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. You can follow us on all our social media handles. You can also follow us on Twitter at STARR Radio UK. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, email info@starradiouk.com. Mrs. Funke Iyalaje says the time to exit Nigeria is now. Mr. Tony says on Yoruba Nation, I stand 100%. African Confidential said the president is the #1 ISIS fanatic in Nigeria. Mr. Olatunji Awofeso said government should increase the defense spending. I thought they've been spending a lot of money. Trillions of naira have been spent. Are we saying that the government haven't spent enough? Okay, I don't know. Let's read more comment from the other platform as well. Mrs. Titi also said, who do we hold responsible other than the man who declared that if he wasn't given the presidency, the blood of the baboons and the monkeys will flow? With a question mark. Should every Nigerian now start? I'm telling you, this young man, 26 years old, an ISIS fanatic, was able to stab a member of parliament, which is equivalent to what you can call your senator in Nigeria, 20 times. How did we allow him to operate in a system that has vast amount of security? Not to talk about Nigeria, where you don't have that security. Today is Wednesday, 13th of April. The time now is 7:36 p.m. Santra Koko say Yoruba Nation now. Mrs. Ojora Elizabeth said, Jekomo with hashtag. We're going to listen to a bit of what Chief Sunday Adeyemo says, especially telling us to go and sign the petition, the 5 million petition. So let's go back to this a little bit more.
Religion is about ethnic cleansing. The Fulani people want to eliminate the indigenous Nigerians. Now, in my look,
The Fulani want to eliminate the indigenous Nigerians. For those that are not aware, let me bring you up to date. Nigeria was put together by the British government in 1914, and that is why the Yorubas are saying they want to exit Nigeria. That is why the Biafrans are saying we want to leave Nigeria. That is why the Middle Belt are saying that the killing is too much. The Hausas are now also saying that the Fulani want to wipe out all the ethnic minority or the indigenous, not even the ethnic minority, the indigenous. Good evening to you, blessed Olua. Good evening to you, Elijah Adeyeye. Good evening to you, my brother Ayomi Kun Damijo. Until Boko Haram invade the National Assembly before Nigeria get the sound. Wow. So do we must allow the Boko Haram to invade the National Assembly? Is that your own take as well? Mrs. Comfort Ologunja. I hope I pronounced it very well. I hope I didn't massacre the name. Good evening, Mom. Good evening to you. We're very grateful to you. And thank you so much for your support all the time. Nigeria has gone to a land of no return. Destroyed finally by the Buhari and Fulanis. Break Nigeria now. It can never hold again Yoruba nation now. Do you agree with the line that until Nigeria breaks away, that will be the only option on the table at 1938 from London, where we are saying that Star Radio UK, let's go back again and listen more. Once again, Mrs. Comfort Adeye said, definitely they will. Good evening to you, Prince Nasir Brown. When somebody is Prince, it's not a pet name, it's a royal family lineage. Good evening to you, Rahim Ibrahim said, this is the time for us to exit from the contraction before time goes. Let's listen more to what this indigenous Hausa man has to say.
Indigenous Nigerians. Now, in my local government, your local government of Kaduna State, it's a local government that is 99% Hausa people by tribe. But as I'm talking to you, over 4 days now, the Fulani militias have killed over 200 persons. And among them include my own relations. They have burnt houses. They have destroyed both Christians and Muslims. So it is high time for particularly the indigenous northern Hausas to unite themselves against this onslaught. If those are
Coming back.
In position of authority, if you think this is about religion, then you are still sleeping. This is not about religion. This is about ethnic cleansing. They are trying to eliminate the indigenous, Nigerians, the indigenous northerners, and take over their lands. This is about land grabbing. I'm telling you, in the Zangwan community in your local government, which comprises of over 60 to 70 villages, clustered villages, there have been so far now, over 100 people have been killed, houses burnt, their cows, their cattle that they use for, farming, for construction of bridges and all that, they have been scattered away. Some of them have moved towards Zaria.
The situation, do I say, has got out of hand or is just about to get out of hand? Which one do you think? Do you think that the situation of Nigeria has literally now got out of hand or is just getting out of hand? What is your take on that? Once again, we do know that those of you that are watching us on Star Radio UK, the video has been freezed, but the engineers are working behind the scene to get it back on as quickly as possible. For those of you that are watching us on Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. This is Star Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
Are you ready to turn it up? Like I said, we are aware that the image has frozen for those of you that are watching us on Star Radio UK, but the engineers are working to bring it back up again as quickly as possible. Keep the comment coming, and I'll be reading them as I have them with me, for those of you that are watching us from all the platforms. Let's see what the British government advised to Nigerians that might want to go home, this is the advice. This was updated last on the 13th of April, which is today. Well, I mean on the 4th rather, but it's still current. Mrs. Liz Dada said Nigeria is dusted. Thank you so much once again, Shino Yusuf, and to every one of you. Olatunja officer said Nigeria is a time bomb, to be honest. Okay. Mrs. Liz Dada said Boko Haram is a terrorist, is a pathetic. But everybody is now singing the song of election 2023. The vice president says, I can do it. Bola Tinubu says, I can do it. Dele Momodu says, I can do it. Kingsley Moghalu, Sowore, Wike, Yaya Bello, Anyami. And every one of them are saying that they can make Nigeria a better place. Do you agree? Or is it just a joke? According to the British government, on the foreign travel advice, should you be going to Nigeria, the Foreign and the Commonwealth Development Office, also known as the FCDO, advised against all travel to Borno State, Yobe State, Adamawa State, Gombe State, Kaduna, Katsina, Zamfara, and the riverine of Delta State and Bayelsa River, Akwa Ibom, and Cross River. You must not travel to those regions, according to the British government, FCDO. The FCDO advised against all but essential travel to Bauchi State, Kano State, Jigawa State, Niger State, Sokoto State, Kogi State, within 20 kilometers of the border with Niger in Kebbi State, Abia State. If you are planning travel to Nigeria, remember that on the 26th of March 2022, an attack against the Kaduna airport killed at least one airport official in the latest in series of attacks by the gunmen in the north of Nigeria. On the 29th, which is just about 2 days after that, an apparent improvised explosive device known as IED attack took place against a train that was traveling from Abuja to Kaduna, with report of numbers of people being killed or adopted by the gunmen, and that's the audio we played earlier on. Mrs. Comfort Ade said, which Nigeria? All of them are jokers, but they say they want to fix Nigeria. Good evening to you, I Chief Otumba 231 on Instagram, and those of you that have joined us so far on the Instagram. Ifawaleyi, there is no more government in Nigeria. The bandit will soon take over the government. Thank you so much. Keep the comment coming. Mrs. Elizabeth Adeson say, they wear of the same feathers. They can't do anything, all of them. Did you see the electricity that sparked in Maryland today? Nigeria with trouble. 12 minutes before 8 p.m. tonight. Like I said, bear with us, those of you. Okay, the video is back. No, it's still freeze. I'm aware that it's freeze. The engineers are working to get it back up, should we can get it back on. For those of you that are watching us on STARR Radio UK, we do apologize for the freeze in the video. I know you can see my picture, but there's no movement at all. We'd like to apologize for that. Let's come back to a bit of what we heard from Professor Banji Akintoye and Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho and their lawyer. This was last week. Once again, we'd like to say thank you so much to every one of you that have joined us so far. This is STARR Radio UK, where we come up every Wednesday. My name is Olayemi Koike, and I've been your host so far. And as we continue to say, what do you think is going to happen? Good evening to you, Biafra. Now I'm talking about the video from the Star Radio UK Facebook page, not the not the YouTube, is the Facebook. Thank you so much once again to those of you that have joined us so far. We all had Chief Sunday Adeyemo spoke last week after 1 month of being released by President Patrick Talon. I'm just going to play a snip. But before I do that, he has also advised us to go and sign the petition, which is www.ominirayoruba2022.org, for the benefit of those of you that have not signed it so far. Let's first listen to this. Chief Sunday Adeyemo wants us all to go and sign the petition. Once again, I say good evening and welcome to Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Like I said, the image will be coming back on in just about a few minutes for those of you that are watching us on Star Radio UK Facebook page. But this is what Chief Sunday Adeyemo said regarding signing the petition. And I guess the video is coming back on in just about a few minutes. I'd like to appreciate our producer that are working around the clock. I think is back on. Thank you so much to all the engineers that are working behind the scene. Chief Sunday Adeyemo says, we must all now go and sign the petition. Let's hear from him. This was the one that he was using to say thank you so much to Pa Ayo Adebanjo of Afenifere and also all the Yoruba sons and daughters for all your support, your wishes, your love, your concern while he was being kept for 7 months. And then we'll play the other one in just about a few minutes. That is Chief Sunday Adeyemo as they continue to say big thank you to every one of you out there. According to Amayo, says breaking news: the American lonely killer had just been arrested. Had it been Nigerian government? Had Nigerian government arrested one? I guess that is the incident that happened in New York. For those of you that have been following the news yesterday, I just spotted our very beautiful mother Mrs. Felicia Matthew, thank you so much for joining. Mr. Ismail Bakari, thank you. Mr. Gani Ogun, Yoruba Nation, no going back. Mrs. Felicia Matthew said, yes, break Nigeria before it is too late. Mr. Kazim Favor Olatunde, all hail the Biafrans as we continue to, to ask for the justice and the, the illegal detention of so many Biafrans across different parts of Nigeria, as we know that the Nigerian government continue to pick them up while the terrorists are moving around with impunity. Mrs. Felicia said the situation has gone out of hand completely. Yoruba Nation are going back. Mr. Kazim says, let's be sincere to ourselves. Nigeria is no more working again. Let's divide the country so that everybody will go their own way. And that is my own view. That is my own opinion as well. And that is what I believe. Good evening to you, Mrs. Bimileke, my beautiful auntie. Thank you so much for joining us as well. Those of you that have joined us, quite a lot of comment is coming up. It's coming up to 8 minutes past. We'll probably just run it about maybe 20 minutes extra because we run a bit late before we started this broadcast this evening. Good evening to you, Moscow boy. Good evening again. Mrs. Liz Dada says, and I quote, Nigeria politicians are pathetic, criminals. They are not credible. Everyone should go their separate ways. Yoruba Nation, no going back. I'm going to be giving you an update about the court case that is coming up as we have it and as we are being told to deliver to you. But before we do that, let me go back again and appreciate on behalf of Chief Sunday Igboho, those of you that have continued to support him while he was away. Good evening to you, Mrs. Ojora Elizabeth from France. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for helping, with the back end team. We have a lot of back end team that are doing different things. They're in Manchester, Dublin, Germany. I would also like to use this opportunity. One of our very hardworking mother lost her husband on Friday here in the United Kingdom. A very hardworking woman for Yoruba Nation. She was also in Nigeria at some point. When I was in Nigeria, we can only say, may the soul of the husband continue now to rest in peace, just as the souls of those that have been killed. We remember almost every one of them, from Alhaji Adogon, Alhaji Fatai, and the rest of those that we might not be able to remember. We continue to ask for justice for Bamishe. Remember, she was the young girl that was killed for ritual purpose by the state government in Lagos State because she was traveling on a public transport. As we speak right now, there is no justice yet. We ask for justice for Tolulopa Rotile, justice for Jumako Yeleke, justice for all the Biafrans that have also been killed. Like I said, our mother that lost her husband, we remember you, in our prayer, and we hope the Almighty Lord will hold you together as you are going through a very difficult time. Also, I read a message this morning when I was going through my phone. One of our brother here in UK is going through a stroke. We pray for you. We remember you as well. I think he's been going through it for the last 3 years. And those that are going through all kind of difficulties, and that is why I say the daily quote today, it is my firm conviction that everyone's destiny will have its ups and downs, zigzags, drawbacks, and accomplishment. We must now say to the international community, just as you have said it before by the former American ambassador to Nigeria, that Nigeria is now an official failed nation. And we must do everything as quickly as possible so that it doesn't engulf. Nobody wants a war, but the terrorists has already brought the war onto the doorstep of millions of Nigerians. Nigerians can no longer travel from point A to B. And that is why we've all been asked to go and sign the petition. That is why Ilana Modua, Professor Banji Akintoye has been speaking continuously to say the Yorubas are better off to be out of Nigeria. But some Yorubas still believe that, 2023 election will bring peace and unity. But that is not what we believe. But this is what, Chief Sunday Adeyemo wants us to do.
Because one board of the our economic so gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ yìí bákan náà àlẹ́mọ̀ wọn náà gbogbo àwọn bọ́dọ̀ akáwé àwọn sísá wa káwé ní ìṣe kẹfẹsẹ wọn ká nílẹ̀ Yorùbá lásán ó tó gbọdẹ́gbẹ́ gbogbo àwọn Yorùbá kò ní síbẹ̀ nìkan ọ̀pá yìí kò ní sẹ́ kí làwọn fẹ́ tọ́lọ̀ ṣe fún wa ó sì wá jẹ́ pé àwọn ọmọ ọlọ́mọ kan náà fi tọ́jú Ó ta gbogbo ọkọ̀ jára kájí. Àwọn bàbá wa wọ́n kàn fi ẹ̀bà wọ́n fi dín kọ́bọ̀ lójú fún wa ni. Wọ́n fi ẹ̀bà wọ́n fi dín kọ́bọ̀ lójú fún wa tí ọ̀rẹ́ yẹ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Sọ Ọlọ́run ní gbogbo ti gbogbo Yorùbá. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ ń bọ̀ kì í sàsìkò yìí. Àsìkò dúpẹ́ láti wà. Dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ni.
Let's listen to that one more time. That is Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igbowosha. Just as Mrs. Modukweola Onitiri Abiola is also saying that we need to sign the 5 million petition. If you don't know how to sign the petition, get in touch with us. We have already done a lot of videos explaining how to do it. It is very, very easy. You go to www.ominirayoruba2022.org. If you don't have an email, it's not compulsory. It's optional. All you need to do is input your name. You omit the email if you don't have it. Then you put in your contact number. You put in your code. If you're in Nigeria, you don't have to change that. I believe that is the first one. Then you put in your age. We're not asking for your date of birth. It's just your age. You put in your state, whether Ogun State, Ekiti, Kwara, Kogi. Then you click whether you are male or female. When you submit it, it's going to come back and say, oops, invalid email. There's nothing wrong in that. Just click OK and your data has been submitted. This data doesn't have anything to do with the federal government of Nigeria. It doesn't have anything to do with Patami, the Minister for Communication. That also has lineage and link to the terrorists. Your information is secured and safe. Your data is important, but yes, and it is also protected. If you can't do it, get the name sent out to us. We have people that are sending it. We've received over thousands of people that are sending them across from different parts of the state, and we're telling people to fill it on our behalf. And that is one of our mother that was filling it, that I said earlier, that lost her husband, and we pray for her. As we're just still about some 20 minutes away, we continue to say thank you so much. Nigeria is already at war because the terrorists has already invaded Nigeria. You can no longer move freely in Nigeria without that option. And that is what the British government is advising a lot of Nigerians that want to travel back to Nigeria not to go to the northern part of Nigeria because of terrorism attack. As we speak today, Nigeria still remains the capital poverty of the world. Nigeria has overtaken Iraq when it comes to the global terrorism index as well. So there's quite a lot of things happening in Nigeria. And one thing we've got to remind ourselves is this is what
this revolutionary new device.
This is what the late Dr. Malafia said again, that this is the year that every Nigerians have to be very, very focused. This is 2022. He said this before he was killed, that civil war is coming to Nigeria. I didn't say that. Dr. Malafia late said so. This was an interview he granted to a radio station in Abuja from his base before he was killed. We've seen repentant Boko Haram bringing placard and saying, Nigerian, please forgive us. We're not going to do that again. And yet, we've seen a lot still happening. So let's listen one more time to what the late Dr. Malafia Obadia has to tell us. Once again, for those of you that have joined us, this is STARR Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
Our own intelligence networks.
Okay.
Have met with some of the bandits. We have met with some of their high commanders. One or two who have repented. They have sat down with us, not once, not twice. They told us that one of the northern governors is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Boko Haram and the bandits are one and the same thing. They have a sophisticated network. During this lockdown, their planes were moving up and down as though there was no lockdown. Moving ammunitions, moving logistics, moving money, and distributing them in different parts of the country. They're already in the south, in the rainforest of the south. They're everywhere. They told us that when they finish these rural killings, they will move to phase 2. The phase 2 is they will go into the urban cities, going from house to house, killing prominent people. I can tell you, this is the game plan. By 2022, they want to start a civil war in Nigeria.
I'm sure you heard him right there without mixing the word. Is there evidence to that? We've talked about the 1999 Constitution. Good evening to you, my brother Inwa for Biafra, Chibuzo, Anyanwu. So many people have talked about the fraudulent Nigeria 1999 military decree. And a lot of Nigerians probably do not understand the consequence of what this constitution is doing in your life. But let me help you out. This is Professor Akin Oyebode speaking some 3 years ago.
They will not stand up to immoral conduct. Then we justify that particular conduct. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And quite sincerely, the judges too, they have part of the blame, but they don't have all the blame. The problem, I think, like the Patriots pointed out a long time ago, is that that Constitution, Decree 24 of 1999, is a diktat. It's a military diktat. It tells a lie against itself, what you are brandishing as the Constitution of Nigeria. It's an illegitimate instrument. There's nowhere where we all agreed that
even,
that would be
even
the
though it begins with "we the people."
No, that's the lie that I'm talking about, and I'm not original here. The Patriots have said it, okay, and Ben Wabose continues to say it. I attend meetings on the Black Table, where Ben Wabose presides, and he will tell you that Constitution is a fraud. That we have to jettison it and do an autochthonous constitution for ourselves. So please let us recognize the limitations of the 1999 so-called constitution. We need a constitution which reflects the spirit of the age, which captures our imagination. And that's why I say acquiescence by the generality of the people is what has pretended to lend legitimacy to an otherwise illegitimate instrument.
Well, that was Professor Akin Oyebode. He was speaking during the Nigerian independence some 3 years ago. I'm going to take one more from another senior advocate of Nigeria, Robert Clark. I'm sure a lot of you know him very well. The 1999 Constitution has created more problems for us as Nigerians, for those that still believe they are Nigerians, because as for me, as an individual, I believe I'm a Yoruba man, and I prefer to be known as a Yoruba man than to be known as Nigerian. Whether you agree, whether you disagree, whether your take says that Nigeria is at war, the indexes have already told us that. There's a lot of evidence based to that. And I'm going to quickly bring this up while I'm going to be playing this. When it comes to Nigeria as a failed state or failed nation, Nigeria a failed state, what we know is, according to the foreign policy, this article came out on the this article was out some few this was last year. For the benefit of those of you, I'm going to be posting the link. You can have your time to go and read it through, and you would understand that when I say that Nigeria is at war, it's not because we saw that. It's because even those that have the foreign policy, the British government is telling you not to travel to some part of Nigeria. What does that tell you? Like I said, we're just about some 15 minutes before the end of the program. At exactly 8:15, I'll be bringing it down. So I only have just about less than 14 minutes. So this headline came out last year. And the headline says, and I quote, "Nigeria is a failed state. The first step to restoring stability and security is recognizing that the government has lost control." Like I said, this was put together by Robert I. Robeck, the founding director of Harvard Kennedy School Program on Instruct Conflict and President Emeritus of the World Peace Foundation, and likewise John Campbell. John Campbell is a senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations, and he was also a former U.S. ambassador. So are you saying to me that if the former US ambassador is saying that Nigeria is a failed state? And how do you recognize a failed state? How do you know if a country is failed? What are the index or the indices to say that this country has failed? Even as UK was well security conscious, they were still able to take a member of parliament by stabbing him 20 times by a fanatic that has lineage to ISIS. So you should ask yourself the question, you watching us today, the question you should ask yourself is Nigeria a failed state? And if Nigeria is not a failed state, why do you think it's not a failed state? So according to Nigeria has long teetered on the precipice of failure. But now, unable to keep its citizens safe and secure, Nigeria has become a fully failed state of critical geopolitical concern. I didn't write this. Its failures matters because the peace and prosperity of Africa and preventing the spread of disorder and militancy. Because the way Nigeria is now is going to create a lot of militancy across different regions surrounding Nigeria. Around the globe, not even in Africa, depend on stronger Nigeria. Its economy is usually estimated to be the Africa largest or second largest after South Africa, long West Africa hegemon. Nigeria played a positive role in promoting African peace and security with a stalled failure. It can no longer sustain the vocation and no replacement is in sight. Its security challenges are already destabilizing the West African region in the face of resurgency jihadism, making the battle of the Sahel that much more difficult to contain, and the spillover from Nigerian failure ultimately affect the security of Europe and the United States. 9 minutes past 8 p.m., Wednesday, 13th of April, this is STARR Radio UK. I'm going to be sharing that article with you where you can also use it for your own pleasure. But let's listen to Robert Clark. The 1999 Constitution created more problems for Nigeria.
You cannot build something on nothing. The Constitution, the 1999 Constitution, is a constitution that I believe we should jettison completely because it does not augur well. After 17 years, it has created more problems for us in Nigeria. It has given more powers to the executive governors and the president, that in exercising these powers, they have allowed corruption to come in. Let me give you an instance. The question of security votes with governors has no basis in the Constitution. They are illegally accepting security votes without constitutional provisions. Security votes was brought in by the military governors because being a military governor, he needed security votes to start looking at people who are going to topple their government by way of a coup. So they allowed them that money so that they could be paying spies to report any coup attempts. Now, the civilians inherited it without a constitutional provision. When Imo State was doing its 5 years something on your channels, the commissioner said Okorocha released 4 billion of his security votes.
I'm just picking up a comment here from Mr. Kende Joseph. Said Professor Akin Oyebode was colleague to Professor Yemi Osibajo in the Faculty of Law, University of Lagos. Hence, Professor Osibajo cannot say that he does not know that the Constitution is a fraud. Very good one there.
To enable them to use it in building schools. Let us even agree that 4 billion is the minimum. When you multiply 4 billion by 36, every year for the past 17 years, you see what money has been going into the pockets of these governors. And they don't account to anybody.
And we don't know how much exactly.
I'm just using that revelation by Imo State. Now they should be called to account for it. As far as I'm concerned, they have ripped Nigeria of more than 1 trillion naira.
I'm sure you had him there. So, those of you that still believe in one Nigeria, you should start asking the question, what is your governors doing with the security vote? How are they protecting your community, your local government, to make sure that the terrorists do not get into your own environment? We've seen killings in Lagos State. We saw that some few weeks ago. We've seen killings in Ogun State, in Oyo State, in Kogi, in Kwara, in Edo. We've seen killing in Ekiti, in Osun State. We've seen killing in Ondo State. So my question to those of you that are saying that we should keep one Nigeria then is, how do you want to keep Nigeria? With all this evidence, this video I've just played to you, first release 2016 of June. My name is Olami Koiki, and this again is STARR Radio UK.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
This is STARR Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Within 17 years, without accounting for it. Now look at also the powers of the governor. When Obasanjo in his good sense created what you call the excess crude fund. The excess crude fund was the excess from the budgeted or, money. When the price of oil was 110, the budget was spent at 75. So you still have about $45,000, which now Obasanjo said, keep it in an excess crude fund, so that when the price of oil goes below that 75 benchmark, we will have money, to help you to still maintain the standard of governance. What happened? The governor started breathing on the neck of the president. We want this, we want this. When Obasanjo left, he left 86 billion reserve and 47 billion in the excess crude fund. Today, the excess crude fund, I don't think, is up to 2 billion.
This was just 1 year after the APC government came to power. The question you should ask yourself tonight is, how much left in the reserve? How much left in all the money? Loan has been borrowed on the name of Nigerians, but as I speak to you tonight, millions of Nigerians are going to bed without no food in their belly. I would have loved to continue, but as you know, I have to go now. We're just 5 minutes away, and I'll be handing over back to the studio. The last message that we have tonight is coming from Ilana Omodua. And this is what they have to say to give us the update on the upcoming court case challenging this fraudulent document called Constitution that has been used to secure their lives as against your life. The question you should ask yourself tonight is, what is the purpose of Nigeria? At who benefit? The last
Nigeria.
message that we have. Who benefit from Nigeria? As we know tonight, we were told that 80% of the wealth that is meant to be for Nigerians or Nigeria as a whole is in the hands of few people. Who are these people? Do you think that 20% can sustain everybody? That is why there's everybody stabbing and killing each other. And that is why we are saying, let us let it go. So this is the latest coming from Maxwell Adeleye, is the communication secretary for Ilana Omodua. Ilana Omodua, worldwide court action against the 1999 Constitution. This to inform you all that the Oshogbo court case instituted by Ilana worldwide against the validity of the 1999 Constitution has been adjourned to from today, the 13th of April 2022 to 17th of May 2022 for motion and mention. The April 28th date for Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State, still stand. So for those of you that are planning to travel, you now have to prepare to travel to Oshogbo on the 17th of May next month. My name is Olayomi Koiki. I'd like to thank every one of you that have stayed tuned with us tonight as we're bringing the broadcast to an end. I want us to remind ourselves that self-determination is not a crime. Self-determination is not against the international world that we are living. We have right to determine where we want to be. We are the indigenous people. My take and my belief as an individual is that the Yoruba must now walk towards their exit from Nigeria, just as the British left European Union. We will do this in every ramification, more awareness campaign. We will defend ourselves should the need arise. And we should not be scared to say that, because if we wait and allow the invaders to invade us without defending ourselves, a lot of people will die. We've seen it, and I've asked the question I'm asking again tonight before I go. Last time, who should be held responsible for security? Robert Clark told us billions of naira have been given to our governors, but yet they refuse to give you that proper security. So my advice to those of you at home is to continue to be vigilant, know your environment, know who is coming in, who is going out. I know it might be difficult, but you'll be surprised that some people have moved into your community and there might be danger to you. A 26-year-old was living with us here in Kentish Town. He took a train. He traveled about almost 2 hours journey, and he was able to stab a member of parliament here in UK. This was 6 months ago. They've convicted him yesterday. If that could happen in United Kingdom, that is meant to be one of the most safe place, my question to you then is, how secure are you in Nigeria today? And on that note, I say have a very good evening, and I'll hand over back to my producer back in the studio. I'll be back again same time next week, but tomorrow you can join me at exactly 11 o'clock when we come back for the update on the morning show. To all our friends and sisters and brothers watching from African country, I say au revoir, I say odabo. I've already pinned down the link to that article that says Nigeria is a failed state. I cite every one of you from Ogun State to Kwara to Kogi, from wherever you're watching. For those of you in the northern part of Nigeria, we say protect yourself. Rest assured, next week is going to be much hotter with a very, very important topic, but I'll leave that to you for you to guess. My My name hasn't changed. It's Olayomi Koiki. This is Niger Voices, and you can join me on my own social media handles. You all know where to join me. I'll be back again whenever I'm back. But for now, on Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, I say good night.
ọmọ aládé ni wá látọ̀dé ọ̀run. Adé orí òkè kì í ṣẹgbẹ́ ẹ̀dẹ́yẹ, kì í ṣẹgbẹ́ wọn. Akíkọ́dìyẹ má gbóbèrè fún kọ̀lọ̀kọ̀lọ̀. Rárá kò jọra wọn. Ọmọ ojú wa dìde, bọ́ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ bàbá rẹ̀. Èmi ọ̀pọ̀ lọ́mọ fáráyé. Èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè mi.
Thanks for listening.
I gotta go now. I've got about 2 hours to get back home. So I gotta go now. Thank you so much to each and every one of you that have joined us tonight. We'll be back again, like Barrow alone, next week. Nigeria can never walk. Be rest assured that if you're trying to fix Nigeria, Nigeria will sink you in. And that's the mistake a lot of you are still doing. You're hoping that we hate Nigeria. That's what some of you are thinking. We Koiki hate Nigeria. The studio one is already off anyway, so we're off mic on the studio. So I'm just talking directly to you, those of you that are still with me. Some of you think that we hate Nigeria. Nigeria hates you that if you understand what Nigeria is, you will run 20 times. 20 times. Enfi, fire shere. Hello, Katiku Yedada. I want you to go and read it. Go and read it. You will understand that Nigeria is gone. What on patching is saying? It's just a patching. Our own job is to remind you and to continue to educate ourselves, including myself. Nigeria, and there's nobody that can say my family was part of the creation of Nigeria. Neither your own family. I call her create Nigeria. Morimbe baba mi mo ṣe bí Kọ́lá wọlé ẹ ṣé gan ni mo kí gbogbo lé kìnìún èmi kọ́ mo bà Nigeria jẹ́. I'm comfortable here. Just as so many diaspora. You know what? Ṣẹ́rí gbogbo táwọn ṣe bí báyìí ìtẹ́yìn náà lè ṣe ni. Let me just turn the camera, some of you just see the back view. But nígbà tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá níná, ṣẹ́rí gbogbo táwọn lò yìí nísìn, gbogbo gadget táwọn lò yìí, ṣẹ́rí. Iná ni kò sí pé a tan generator. Ṣẹ́rí mò ń broadcast níbí báyìí, mò ń broadcast níbẹ̀ yẹn. Ti studio ti lọ báyìí nísìn. So I'm just doing my own thing. Ìtẹ́yìn náà lára àwọn opportunity ẹ jẹ́ n tàn camera fún gbogbo yín kẹ́ lè rí. Ẹ má bínú ìtẹ́ wà lórí Koiki Oduduwa ẹ̀yin ò ní lè rí ní tí mo fi ṣẹ́rí. Gbogbo tẹ́ ń wò yìí nísìn. Right? These are opportunities that will eventually come one day. Nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Tí wọn náà máa ní studio tiẹ̀. Tí wàá lè máa ṣe operation. O ní di bàbá àlàyé kan. O ní di bàbá àjọ torí Ọlọ́run. You don't need that. N bá kúrò níbí lóru nísìn ó máa take me ní almost 2 hours kí n tó délé mo ṣe máa pack up right báàgì tí máa gbé padà lélẹ̀ ṣọ́ bí wọ̀dà nísìn ní Nàìjíríà kó máa gbélé rìn lálẹ́ láì ṣe sójà ṣọ́ bí ẹ̀dá kó gbélé káàkiri kí n ti máa wọ̀ lélẹ̀ nísìn tí máa ti ń lọ báyìí orí a máa ń lómi orí omi wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ ṣé wọ́n lè gbélé and this is what we are saying to some of you but ẹ ń believe pé Nàìjíríà pé Koiki hate Nàìjíríà ó fẹ́ dógun sílẹ̀ ṣé mi mo fẹ́ dógun sílẹ̀ ebi ń pa wò níbí báyìí nísìn inú báàgì mi nísìn sórí tí bá ń lọ nísìn orí fìlà tí máa dé fìlà mi ti máa sójà lólè tó ń lọ lálẹ́ yìí kò mean anything níbí báyìí ìlú òṣì ìlú tó ti àlákà tó ti bàtà yé àwọn èèyàn jẹ bí ṣe máa lọ lálẹ́ yìí nísìn ni màá tó wá gbé jákẹ́ẹ̀tì bíi green wọn láìkí bíi sójà ni sórí ó wá complete má lọ dán wò ní Nàìjíríà wà ná tiẹ̀ bá jẹ́ lórí bí ṣe máa lọ lálẹ́ ní bí ṣe ń lọlé nìyẹn 2 hours ló máa take me tí máa lọlé nísìn mo mọ̀ pé media dẹ́n ṣe town hall meeting but I might have to join them later anyway right lórí mo ní snacks ebi kọ́ ló ń pa wá ebi ò pa wá ní bíbá ebi kọ́ ló ń pa wá ẹ̀yin wèrè mo rí mo ń ka comment ọmọ àlè kan tó ní èmi lèmi fẹ́ dọ́gun ṣé mi lè fẹ́ ogun ti wà nulẹ̀ tó fẹ́ pa yín dànù ẹ má lọ dira dáadáa kẹ lọ jàmàlà tewédú kẹ lọ ọmọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe máa dira èyí ni ká máa sọ pé mo fẹ́ ṣé mi mo fẹ́ gbógun wa ṣé Koiki ló fẹ́ gbógun wa lórí fìlà méjì ni máa ń dé eléyìí ní sinimá dé tí bá ń lọ báyìí mo ní délé mo fẹ́ fi wọ̀n ẹ́ tí bá rẹ̀ ti jáde sójú títì wá máa ṣe live video máa tàn kó lè bá rí pé bí ṣe máa lọ lélẹ́yìí nísìn mo mọ̀ mú dání ni kò mean anything ìlú òṣì lórí àní kò mean anything àní Nàìjíríà kì í ṣèlú lórí gbogbo àwọn lórí wallet mi lélẹ̀ gbélé sọ́run kò mean anything ibi tí máa ń kó àwọn nǹkan kan sí lélẹ̀ lórí ibi eléyìí níbi credit card oríṣiríṣi card ní credit card nàbọ̀ bank card mi lásán àní Nàìjíríà kì í ṣèlú I pity some of you àgbàlagbà 40 years old wọ́n fi àwọn ilé kan wọ̀n mí ní ọgbà tẹ́ bá rí tọ́ílẹ̀tì inú ilé yẹn ìyá mi gbé mi lékè gbogbo tọ́ílẹ̀tì yẹn o lè yí báyìí kò yí báyìí tó bá kàn ti wọ tọ́ílẹ̀tì kò kàn jókòó sórí gá kó dìde kitchen yẹn fíríjì ò lè gbanú ẹ̀ ìyá ń jẹ yín nílé o oh my God oh my God oh my God èmi ni kẹ́ máa ní mo fẹ́ gbógun wá o thank you African Confidential èmi ni kẹ́ sọ pé mo fẹ́ gbógun wá thank you very much ìyá mi Kẹ́mi Bello bẹ́ẹ̀ ni Nigerians ẹ ti wọ one chance lẹ́wọ̀n àánú ẹ̀ ìwọ tó bá bí wọ dà wọ́n tó sọ pé I love Nigeria ìwọ lọ múra báyìí jáde báyìí lálẹ́ yìí nísìn kí ni time nísìn 8:30 bí a kì í tó délé nísìn á fẹ́ máa tó bí a fi 10 o'clock cause máa ń lọ slow and steady ni and I'm not driving òye pa àti ra mọ́tò kan ní problem nílùú yìí mọ́tò ló cheap jù nílùú yìí but nígbà tó bá gbé insurance lé lọ́rùn tó gbé insurance tó gbé gbogbo ẹ̀ lé lọ́rùn a ní Nàìjíríà ò ṣiṣẹ́ èmi sọ fún ẹ pé Nàìjíríà ò ṣiṣẹ́ ibẹ̀ lèmi ń gbé tẹ́nì kankan bá ń sọ fún ẹ pé ibi báyìí tóun náà ń gbé pé Nàìjíríà ń ṣiṣẹ́ sọ fún pé kó padà wá kó wá gbé nílé níbi tí mo tanná yoyoyo báyìí màá wá dé Nàìjíríà nísìn ṣé mo lè tanná yoyoyo báyìí màá wá ẹ bá mi lọ rẹ epo yes à ń sanwó bills kò ń ṣe free à ń san bills gbogbo tẹ́ ń wò yìí bills ni ó ń ràn bills gbòòṣì ìlú tó ti àlákà ìlú tó ti bá ti gbogbo yín jẹ́ gbogbo wọn Nàìjíríà kọ́ wọn Nàìjíríà ni wọ́n jẹ́ wọn Nàìjíríà ẹ jẹ́ kájọ máa pack up díẹ̀díẹ̀ èèyàn mi láàyè ń ṣe nínú studio láàyè every week nílé léyò bó ṣe ń lọ nìyẹn o àpáàkì laptop mi máa pa laptop mi nísìn kò sẹ́ni tó máa gba laptop yẹn wọ́n bí dá bó ṣe máa wà nù backpack mi lélẹ̀ wọ́n ọ̀bẹ́ni náà dá pa wá já laptop gba ọmọ gbóyò ni pé hey wetin you carry kí ló ń jẹ́ pé wetin you carry kí ló ń nínú UK kí ló ń jẹ́ pé wetin you aláwọn ọmọ kankan náà tó máa ń fẹ́ ṣe bí kíní ọgbà kò ń ṣe bírú àwa ọmọ kan wá dá mi dúró ní Kóìkì á ní àbínú kò tẹ̀ ní mọ́ mi náà á ní wetin you carry bíi ti báwo nínú báàgì tèmi mo lè máa ń protected dáadáa máa kọ́ gbé sínú eléyìí pé wetin you kí ló ń jẹ́ pé wetin you carry bá a sọ pé wetin I carry kí ló ń jẹ́ pé wetin I carry a ní Nàìjíríà ṣiṣẹ́ Nàìjíríà kì í ṣe ìlú tó ní freedom ó ní freedom bó ṣe ń wò mí ó kàn máa bínú ni ó ní freedom èmi ní freedom èmi ní freedom níbi tẹ́mi wà ìwọ ò ní freedom èmi ní freedom ìwọ tó ń wò mí tó ń sọ pé wọ́n Nàìjíríà ó ní freedom one time tí mo lè ṣe nílùú ọ̀bí ẹ̀dá kò ṣe Ṣòwòrẹ́ lọ́tì fún 2 years kò lè mú kúrò l'Àbújá kí ló ṣe ṣé ó pààyàn ni ṣé Ṣòwòrẹ́ pààyàn ni ẹ jẹ́ ká máa lọ ká máa ṣe tó kù àwọn mídíà dẹ́n dúró dè mí báyìí but I have to be in the studio because wọ́n ṣe town hall meeting lálẹ́ yìí èmi dẹ̀ ṣe ń lọ́lé ni ó dẹ̀ máa take me ní 1.5 hours you mean no kidnap on the eye kidnap kẹ̀ tọ́ba kidnap mi British government ló mọ̀ ń pa yẹn tẹ́wà ti rí mi tọ́ba ti kidnap mi British government yẹn pé Fúlàní kidnap mi Fúlàní kidnap ní UK. Anyway, ẹ̀yin tèmi mo rí iná mo kí gbogbo wa pátápátá. I have to shut down the system. I have to keep going now. Nigerian police will stop you and ask you. Nigerian police máa ní kí lọ mú receipt ibi tí mo ti ra laptop yẹn wá wèrè laptop tán fún mi náà máa ní kí lọ mú receipt ẹ̀ wá mo ti fẹ́ rí receipt. Àní Nàìjíríà ò gbádùn kò gbádùn àwọn àǹtí tó ń sọ fún mi pé àwọn àǹtí tó ń ṣe APC ní London PDP London àwọn yẹn ti jẹun bẹ́kùn làwọn yẹn o ṣọlá àwọn àǹtí ẹ̀ tó ń sọ pé àbí PDP member APC ìwọ náà rí bọ́ ṣe ń dán bí mi náà ṣe ń dán London boy bí ṣe máa lọ ni má ṣe fídíò tí bá jáde nísìnyí níta a ṣe fídíò fún yín kẹrí kò yẹ pé ní ọ́fíìsì mo ti ń wọ̀ tí bá jáde nísìnyí bí ṣe máa wọ̀ ní ẹkùn. Anyway, I gotta go now. Thank you so much everybody. Let's shut it down here. Mo kí gbogbo yín o odò agbéwà kò ní gbọ́dọ̀ rẹ̀ ẹ lọ sign petition yẹn ó wà important ẹ ṣé gan ni o bye for now. Gba àwọn orin yẹn bá dẹ̀ ti lọ́nu broadcast nísìnyí wàhálà ni ni mo ṣe reduce ẹ̀. A ní Nàìjíríà òṣìṣẹ́ mo kẹ́yìn tẹ́wà lórí Mixer Lab. Thank you so much. Ara máa lọ ní slow and steady ìgbà tí bá délé ni kò sí àwọn tó máa dẹ́. A ní Nàìjíríà gbádùn it's a crime scene. Bàbá 40 years o tí mo bóyá fi sort life out o ṣe ń dúró káàntì ẹ̀ kan máa send owó sell abroad tó yẹ kí wọ́n ní factory tó ní business ẹ wá ń lọ ṣiṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú àwọn Indian wọn gba yín sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ wọ́n tẹ̀lé àwọn Indian yẹn àwọn yẹn máa wọ́n san 1,000 naira wọ́n náà san 2,000 naira fún yín a day job ìyá ti jẹ yín ìyá ti mú yín pẹ́ nílé ẹ má yẹ ká stop ẹ o anyway ẹ jẹ́ kí n pa broadcast yẹn kí n máa lọ díẹ̀díẹ̀ so àtúpàdé oyè yín ẹ̀wọ̀n bó ṣe ń lọ Koiki ni ó dàbọ̀ bye for now.